That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
What is going on? How do we even start that?
I don't know. We do it.
We just started staring lovingly into each other's eyes one day.
Yeah.
What's going on, fans of the OneCast? Welcome back to our weekly recorded episode, number 127. Crazy every time I look at that number that we've continued to do this, and people keep listening to us for 127 weeks in a row. We're joined by Phillip from 47 Lures. We're going to get into that, but first, before we do, as always, we just shout those out to make this all possible. Starting with OneCast Fishing. You can head over to OneCastFishing.com. Use the code TheOneCast, all one word at checkout. Grab yourself some of the snagless jigs, long neck hooks, weedless neds, some of the soft plastics that he has, especially the Nighthawk, which was my favorite flipping bait, but I got a preview of some that might try to roust it from the lead. But I got a rotation of them, though. I got plenty of room for all the companies that we love. But definitely check out those soft plastics, the snagless jigs, lose less tackle, catch more fish. When you're done there, you can head over to CarolinaWatersNC.com. Use the code TheOneCast, all one word, to check out there to save some coin. Grab the UPF gear, gloves, hats, T-shirts. Ben's rocking a hat today. I lost the one that I like. It's somewhere in my house.
My stuff's stinking right now. I had to wash it.
Who knows? So I haven't been rocking it, but I need to dig it out of wherever I lost it if I can. But yeah, make sure you head over there, grab yourself some UPF gear, and then use the link that we post all the time. It'll take you to Hobie Eyewear. Grab yourself some floating frames. Make sure you check out the new Hull floats. Grab yourself a pair of those upcycled Hobie kayak plastic floating frame sunglasses. We've been talking about them. They've helped us catch a lot of fish over the last couple of years since we've partnered with them. And I can't say enough good about them. And then, Ben?
Before your next fishing trip, you all need to go on your Play Store or Apple Store, download the Deep Dive app. If you're watching, I've got it actually up on my phone right now. I pulled up Jordan Lake, which is one of our local lakes. We've had a lot of rain around here the last week or two. It's very nice to be able to pull up the lake level to see how much it's fluctuating, see how much water they're pulling out, what their flow is, what it's been over the last week. And of course, they've got water clarity on there, wind effects, your stream flow, the wave effects, and you can adjust that going back in time and forwards in time to help plan your fishing trip. Identify some of those locations where the bait may be pushed up on the banks. And then, of course, you can use your algorithm in there and find the best areas there on the Deep Dive app.
Yeah, make sure you check that out. I know there's a lot of Elite Series dudes that are not happy that has gotten out, but now we see them starting to advertise for them. So it was kind of a secret for a while, but no secret lasts. Last but not least, if you're looking for a home or property in Central North Carolina, make sure you hit up our uncle, who's not really our uncle, but we call him Uncle Terry. Terry Carpenter, licensed NC Realtor with Howard Perry and Walston, Coldwell Banker, Mortgage Realtor Company. Terry's going to get you hooked up with the home or property of your dreams. He's an angler, so he knows what we need. When my wife and I bought, we used Terry. He said, "What do you want?" Chelsea had a list of about 47 things, and I said, "A garage will fit my boat." And he found everything. So we were good to go. And he went out and pre-measured garages and did a lot of legwork, so we didn't even waste our time looking at homes that didn't fit what we were looking for. So Terry's going to bust his butt for you. He's been on a hot streak, dude, finding people their homes. So make sure you hit him up and get on the schedule if you're looking. You can get a hold of him at carpentert@hpw.com, or you can go into our link tree, which has his link tree, which has his phone and everything. Do that link section, as I keep calling it, and get up with Terry. So, yep, Jacob Wheeler won again.
Ninth.
Yep.
947th BPT event. They've only fished 940. He's won 947 of them. No, I mean, it's been a little while, actually. He's been close a few times. Competition's getting a little stiffer over there. I still don't watch them because I don't like the format, but I do like the one period forward facing, one not. It was kind of funny. I think it was the first day, Ben, we were talking, where he went and he caught like 70 pounds in the period he used forward facing, and he just went and beached it on a sandbar because he knew he didn't need to catch anything else the rest of the day.
That's the 2025 version of Timmy
Horton. Instead of ordering a pizza, you just go sandbar it. So
somebody bring me a Mai Tai, you know what I mean? Like, come on with it.
But yeah, he's been obviously dominant in that league. He's won a blue trophy. He can fish. Dude can catch them. What else? Elite start this week.
Yeah, right now. If you're listening to this the day this dropped, 10 killers going on right now for Bass Masters.
Or no, it'll be done.
Oh, it will be. Yeah, right. Sorry, it will be done. That's right. We're back on. We are back
on track
on schedule. Where we record a week early now. So yeah, that will be done. So. Hey, sorry, we don't know the results because we can't predict the future. I still got to update my fantasy team.
John Cox won.
Hey, it'd be awesome.
I'm hoping, the last time they were there was 2019. Carl Jochimson won. And I hope Carl wins again. And speaking of Carl, listen, June 29th here in Raleigh and across the country. But here, if you're in the local area, we have the Fear My Heart in conjunction with Hobie Eyewear Clean the Lake campaign that's going on. We're going to try to get 100 lakes across the country or the world where we go out and volunteer to pick up trash at our local resource. So it could be a pond, could be a lake, could be a river. It doesn't really matter. So you can go online and register and the links provided. But check that out. Carl is doing a great job at spreading that narrative and that awareness to keep our lakes clean, man. And so here, if you're local, Jordan Lake, Farrington Boat Ramp, June 29th, 8:30 to noon. You can show up. Even if you didn't sign up, you can sign up right there, sign the waiver form, and volunteer to help us clean that lake up. So hopefully Carl brings home his second Elite Series victory on because he's the reigning champion on Lake 10 Killer.
Yeah, it's gonna be a way different derby with the water the way it is and everything, but it's gonna be a fun one to watch. So hopefully Carl and you're out there and have a good event. It'll be fun to watch. The only other thing on that, if you sign up, I think it's the first 50. I'll get double check.
That's right.
First 50 folks are going to get a discount card for Hobie Eyewear. That's like, I think it's 50% off. So if you're looking to grab some, use our code and get one pair and then figure out which ones you like and then get another pair for half off. So with that,
I'm here to tell you, don't just listen to us about Hobie, man. Like there's a lot of people I'm seeing wearing Hobie around here now that fish against us in our format and that fish other formats.
We've been talking about them long enough.
We talk about them long enough. They're already a great priced piece of eyewear and they float if you get the floating frames. I mean, like that's right there. I'm sold, right? So great sunglasses, the Sightmaster Pluses. I'm seeing a lot more of them. So
I am too, and
Pete and I got to step our game up with the sight fishing. We got
to get up with Dylan. We're going to need our own special lens that's even better. That's all I know.
We need X-ray vision. We need X-ray lenses. But
incorporate forward facing.
What else is going on? The only thing by the time they're hearing this, what'd you say, Ben? It's day 2.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're listening or watching this on the day we dropped, then it is day 2 of the NPFL out at Lake Eufaula, and they were there.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Lake Eufaula,
Oklahoma. There's 2 Eufaula. Remember,
there's Alabama
and there's Oklahoma. 2 different lakes.
Did I say Alabama?
No, but I always make sure to say because I don't want people to.
Because you guys just messed me up. That was like I know I didn't say Alabama.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't say anything. So we just clarified.
Okay. So Lake Eufaula, I was right. They're trying to screw me up here, but be day 2 there. They were there a couple years ago, last year or 2 years ago. It was a later tournament. I think it was like September, October timeframe. But so it'll be a different derb. But that summer wave is it's probably going to be
and no forward facing.
Oh yeah.
No 360.
No
360. They're allowing 360.
Yeah, I mean a couple years ago, brush piles and the ends of docks played big time.
I'm sure they still will.
The lake is up, but a couple years ago they had forward facing. So
instead of fishing 6 brush piles a day, you're gonna have to fish 60 to find fish.
Yep.
That's
old
right.
school.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's the highlights. What's going on in the fishing world right now? So
we're gonna let Trey get it started because he was trying to ask questions before we started recording.
Oh, here we go.
So for the first time ever in a history of an interview we've done here, we're gonna get the questions virgin to the guest because typically Trey pops his cherry before we start recording.
All right. Well, since I do most of the talking anyways, you're welcome. Phillip, 47 Lures, man. Thanks for coming all the way from your hometown here in Lillington, which is about 30 minutes away.
Yeah, it wasn't far at all.
Appreciate you driving here, hang out with us here in the studio. We got a little redneck situation going on here, but we love it. It's home for us. So
I was telling you before we started, like I'm unused. I've done podcasts,
Yeah.
right? But I'm unused to like coming into a studio. I think it's
yeah.
kind of nice. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like got a feel to it.
yeah, I appreciate that, man. Sean
Good.
Ryan, we're shooting for your level.
Yeah.
Huge Sean Ryan show podcast fan myself, man. But yeah, dude. So you got an awesome product. We got to preview it before the show. And we're going to give you the opportunity to tell people exactly where they can find you at. But let's talk about how you, like, where are you from and like, give us your story, dude.
Oh man, that's a loaded question. Where am I from? Like, where was I born?
All right, where were you born at?
Where
were
did I
you
go to
born?
high school? So I was actually born in Virginia
Okay.
Beach. My father was military. Did the whole move around thing. We settled in North Carolina. And then everyone split. My whole family's, I mean, we're like roaming nomads, my brother's active duty. My mom's retired. She retired actually to like a few miles outside of Lake Eufaula. She bought a farm down there in Alabama, not Oklahoma.
See, that's
in Alabama.
good Eufaula.
Yeah. So, it's funny. She's always telling me about, when they have tournaments on that lake and everything. Oh, you should come down and fish it. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not at that level. I mean, I appreciate you believing in
Mom,
me,
I'm
but,
too busy making baits. I can't fish.
I mean, even if I wasn't, I don't know that I could go on Eufaula and catch anything. It'd probably be a 10-hour skunk day,
I don't know, man. Not with some of the soft plastics that we saw of yours. So I definitely can. Most of these guys know. They all know like the military lifestyle growing up, right? Moving around a lot, right? Was your dad or was your family hooked on fishing while you were moving around?
So it was funny when we were in Virginia Beach. We actually used to go blue crabbing. And
Really?
We would get. Gosh, I mean, we'd get like 100 pounds of blue crab, and man, it was like Forrest Gump. We would have blue crab everything. I mean, my mom would make like blue crab cakes and patties and like everything,
Yeah.
And so I think that was really where it was born, and then of course it's like you bum around as a kid, and, like by little creeks or whatever. And in Virginia, there's plenty of those everywhere, especially right there like along the beach. There's all sorts of like inland rivers and that sort of stuff. So throw a rod out, see what you can catch. So it's kind of been like a lifelong thing. Now, this I didn't actually get the opportunity to start this company because I had another company actually prior to this, and I still have that company, but until about 5 years ago, and then this part of the company became fishing focused like in the past 3 years, I'd say.
Okay.
Because it was something that I really enjoyed, and I wanted to get more into it. And it's funny because I started the company with the idea that I was like, man, I love fishing so much, I'm gonna make my own baits. I was like, forget going to pay $10 for a pack of Senkos, I'll make my own. Right now, of course, it's like, well, if I ever had time to go fish, I probably would grab a pack of Senkos, even though I'd probably still do the same thing,
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, North Carolina, first and foremost, it traps people, right? North Carolina is a great place to be, but we're also surrounded by great resources here, right? And so, I think all of us here in this room, we grew up just trying to figure out what we could catch, right? It didn't really matter to us, but then we got more focused on bass. I don't know what it is about bass, dude. Maybe it's just because where we're geographically located.
Geographically located, it dominates the fishing.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up fishing in like BSS heyday when they were on ESPN, and Ike and Ellie and Van Dam and all those guys were duking it out, and you had the big teams where they were hauling their boats around in trailers for them, and they were all driving at E450 pickup trucks wrapped, and it was like a dang rock star when you saw those guys. So that I know is why I got focused, because that was like, wow, you can do this for a living. Even though I knew I was never gonna do it for a living, it's like it just made it look so cool that you just kind of started to focus that way. So
were you a wrestling fan too?
No.
What Attitude Era? Are you kidding me?
No, I mean, I watched like the NWO, like WWE and all that, but I never really got into it. I had buddies that were like,
I was into it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Undertaker throwing Mankind off the cage in the Hell in a Cell match.
No,
That's like probably like the best moment.
My brother and I would wrestle after watching. We broke the couch one time.
yeah, just never really got into it. Like if I were at their houses,
the couch.
Mom said, "That's it. You're watching the Young Wrestlers from now on."
When'd you move from Virginia Beach? How old were you?
I have no idea. I mean, I went to high school and college
down
here. So.
Okay. Did you go to middle school at Virginia Beach?
Middle school. No. Actually, I went to middle school down here. So
Okay.
actually, Our Lady of Lourdes is a Catholic school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, church during the school
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
Like, super like altar boy. I wasn't an altar boy, but.
So you probably never crossed paths in Bob
No,
Beach.
no. The reason why I asked, I lived in Virginia Beach for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
I went to middle and high school there, and then college right up the road. So that's why I always got to ask. We didn't do a lot of fishing when I was there, just because what my dad was doing and being gone a lot. A few times we go over on the naval base and we go catfishing in the ponds and stuff that they stocked, and caught eels in there and stuff, which was a weird experience. I didn't expect to do that. I was in high school, and but yeah, I mean, going out a couple times with buddies fishing in the bay and the rivers down there. I mean, there's just so much opportunity up there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 4.7 isn't exclusive to bass fishing, is it?
No. So we started exclusive to freshwater, but very quickly realized that there's a lot of fish in other markets.
Yeah.
The saltwater market is about 1,000 times bigger than freshwater could ever be.
Yeah.
So we actually, my father retired to St. Simon's Island, Georgia, which is like 20 minutes north of Jacksonville, Florida. It's like the very southern island on Georgia,
I
right?
think that's close to where Mike John's family's at.
Yeah.
I want to say, keep going.
And so we would just go down, in visiting him, we ended up taking him like a charter a couple times out, just like an inshore charter, caught a bunch of fish. And so then when I, started this all up and got focused doing this, I just said, hey man, like, you use soft plastics, what can we work together? And that actually has been like awesome. Tim, he's awesome. If you're ever down there, man, book a trip with him. He'll 100% put you on fish. Like I've done a bunch of charters, and I've never run to a captain where it's like a guarantee. Like he's like, dude, we'll go out and we will catch fish. It's not like you're going to pay me. We're going to go out and maybe we will or won't, it's like, but we're fortunate, man. He's like a old school dude, man. I mean, been like a captain for like 40 years down there. So he has insight into all the different colors that are discontinued that work in saltwater really well. And we make, grubs and 3.5-inch paddle tails and, like very saltwater baits.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were just lucky to have him kind of like be the spokesperson for the brand and kind of guide us as far as like what colors we should make and all that sort of stuff. And then because he's been doing it so long, all the other captains down there know who he is and, just really trust his word and everything. And so we got picked up by a couple other people and, it's just kind of word of mouth. And now we have, I don't know, like 10 charter captains ish that we
That's
all
cool.
work with. And, those guys, they stay chartered year round. So I mean, that's any day of the week I could go press out 1,000 bags of baits and send it to any one of those guys. And then the next week go and press out another 1,000 and they'd be ready for it. Like it's such a black hole of how many baits they use every single day. It's almost incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, like
So
the volume.
when you talk about we're to the point you're talking about like you and your partner. Was that what you're talking about? Like with 4.7?
So my partner is actually my wife. She owns 50% of the company.
Okay,
but
there you
she
go.
doesn't do anything with it.
Okay. I gotcha.
But no, I have a couple guys that I work with that work with me.
Okay.
That like help package and help press out baits and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's what I mean. We like just the collective of everyone that's like in the workshop and all that at any given moment. So
okay. Talk about the name. What's up with that?
This is a good one.
Give us
All
the
right.
story.
This is a good one. So
Because the packaging is cool as heck, dude.
Yeah. All right. So the first thing is like aliens, right? Like nothing on the planet markets better than alien anything, right? Or sci-fi, right? Like you can 100% just lean so far into all of that in every aspect, and it's like people just eat it up, right? It's like so on that note, I fell down a YouTube conspiracy hole one day, right? About Roswell, 1947, right? The big alien, the cover up, right? Like, did something happen? Was there a crashed alien, right?
Right.
And I started thinking, like, the type of person that enjoys fishing and like going out to get his peace in nature probably is not the biggest fan of like government taxation, all that sort of stuff, So I decided to call it 4.7 because I was like, man, this is the greatest government conspiracy cover up of all time. And like, people that go and fish would likely be, of the same mind. Right. So, just came up with the alien logo. I actually paid a guy for that logo. And it's just been taken off ever since, man. I mean, we put that alien logo everywhere and blast out. We have a YouTube channel. We use all these sci-fi images and just like real dystopian looking themes and things. We actually released a video today. and it's just like a guy walking through a wasteland is like the picture, So, but yeah, no, I mean, it came about generically, but it's just something that you can just lean into so hard. I mean, it's like all the marketing and everything, and it sucks to say it. It's like when you make a company and you're trying to generate, there's a difference between like a garage bait maker and like what the level we're at and what we're trying to do, right? Like I'm trying to be, next to Biz Baits, and further, right? So it would be a lie to say that like to not think about marketing at all. You know what I mean? Like to not have some sort of like really catchy logo or to have some sort of like thing that you can really lean into, right? And I mean, I don't want to say that's like the whole reasoning, but I mean, it'd be a lie if I said that it wasn't something that I was considering like during the evolution of this company.
Yeah. Dude, I had no idea. Like I saw the alien heads on the package.
Yeah.
But I was like 47. There's something associated.
If you look on the package, there's actually 1947 is in the sides of the logo.
So now we know.
Yeah.
So people need to go on YouTube if you want to, and run down that rabbit hole of that 1947 conspiracy. I'm gonna do it.
It's a good one.
I gotta do it.
I don't recommend it because that's a gateway to
Oh my God. Next thing you know, we didn't land on the moon, and Elvis isn't dead.
That's the gateway, man. That's what I heard.
Roswell's the gateway drug of conspiracy theories.
It's true.
He's got a sister company called 5-1. No, that's cool, man. That's a really cool story on how that all came about. So you, your wife, and then you have a couple other guys that work for you. So what's the geographic spread for you? Like who do you cater to mostly?
I mean, okay, so when we first started, like I was just saying, it was freshwater. So it was a lot of bass guys. And when we first started, we were I'm a kayak fisherman, right? Like that's how I started. I mean, I'll go out on a boat any day of the week, of course, just like everyone else, right? But it's just something about being like this far from the water that I really enjoy, right? So that's how I started, is just fishing these local clubs and everything. And then the business kind of formed in tandem. And then I reached out to all these clubs. Hey, man, you want a bait sponsor, right? And I mean, no one is going to say no to free baits. It's not like I'm charging these clubs. It's like, you go fish a tournament and you win, you're getting a package from me, right? And that's been huge marketing. So that was where it started. It was kind of like an evolution. The guys would go win, they would like start seeing the package and be like, oh man, this is great. They go check the website out, the QR code, all that stuff is like right there on the package. Super easy for people to go and like navigate to the website. And so that's how it started, is people would, get word of mouth through these tournaments and all that sort of stuff. And then that's where the market started. And then we moved into saltwater, like I was just talking about. And that kind of evolved into what it is now. And we have a lot of saltwater stuff happening. And then most recently, actually, we took a dive into like the bait making in general market. So we just, I actually have a supplier out of Asia that provides like hollow shift powders, color shift powders, mica, silica flakes, right? Like all of the super flashy looking stuff, that you would like mix into baits. So we just released a line of color shift powders. We're getting ready to release a line of mica powders and stuff that, other bait makers can actually use to like enhance their baits, right? So we've kind of like, I don't know, gone all the way around as far as like, I still primarily come out myself freshwater baits, right? Because that's what I'm used to. That's what I like to fish. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll go down to the beach and do an inshore trip any day of the week. But all of the saltwater stuff is primarily guided by like the captains we work with. In other words, like I'm not coming up with the colors that are in that market. Like they're telling me, hey, this is what works. This is what we want to see. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and put it out, through the company. If it's something I'm coming up with, it's probably going to be more oriented toward freshwater. But I will say, I mean, there's not, I think maybe Alaska is probably the only state I haven't shipped to at this point.
Really?
Yeah. Last year, are you guys familiar with the G-Crack Q-bomb?
Yep.
Yeah, the Asian, it's a little.
I know. I was looking for some of them bags.
Yeah, so I actually invented the Aerosphere, which is it's a differently shaped plastic ball with rubber legs through it, right? So the G-Crack uses silicone legs that lay flat on the ground. We use rubber legs that stand up underwater, right? So I came out with that bait And we work with a couple YouTube guys. One of the guys ended up catching a big bass, like right off a dock with one of those things, right? And I went to bed, and the next morning I woke up, there was like $7,000 in orders. I mean, it was so, and I mean, from every state, everywhere, like people were crazy about these things because I guess that JDM market is, plays super heavy in the market over here. And the G-Crack, the Q-bombs are sold out all the time. Like you can never find those.
I have seen those.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have seen those.
Yeah.
Those are very alien-like.
Right. Yeah. So we came out with those, and I mean, I'm not even joking, dude. I think the next morning I had to turn orders off because I had $7,000 in cash value orders, and it was like 1,200 orders, and it was every state in the U.S.
And you're like, dude, I can't fulfill.
That was before I had people working for me, and it was literally like, I'm in trouble, right? And I turned off orders on that particular bait, and man, it was like a sweatshop. I had my mom, my wife, my brother. It was like a table just like this, and we were just sitting around like casting because I had custom molds and everything like made for this bait.
Yeah.
So it's like you cast it out of plastic, and you got to thread all the little hairs through it and everything. And I mean, it was literally just like a table like this. We had a pile of them, and it was just all of us just like getting it done, man. 1,200 orders. I mean, we got through all of it. I mean, I was backed up, no lie. I mean, and then, I didn't turn off orders on anything else. So it was like, there was still, because people then like heard the name, right? They're like, oh wait, he's got other stuff on here too. I mean, I do need a pack of worms, and it's like ding, 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 so it's like, man, I was backed up probably about 3 weeks at that point, like for any given order.
And plus, it's a 6-pack for $7, and those G cracks are like $42 for one.
Yeah.
Seriously. Super expensive, man.
No, you're absolutely right. That JDM market is huge here.
Yeah.
Like people, I mean, you try to go get a what is it, like the koiki ball, right?
Yeah,
which is
a spiky little ball.
Right. I got a couple of them, and they chew them.
They're like $30 for one.
They're $18.99.
Yeah,
$18.99. And but they chew them, right? And so that's huge, dude, for 4.7. Like having something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wanted to ask too. And see, I'm doing all the talking here, guys.
That's because once you start, you don't stop.
All right. I'm gonna ask this question. I'm gonna hand it to Pete and Ben. So the saltwater guys are coming up with the colors. How do you did you have to, like, I'm trying to think, like, is it your artistic ability to come up with like design? Because some of these designs are very unique.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they're very unique. Mm-hmm. Like, do you just like in your sleep, like draw them out, or like how does that work?
Yeah, that's like the
don't let trade secrets out.
No, there's no trade secrets. It's just the insanity that's like trapped in my head at all times. It's like I was raised on a healthy diet of like Scarface and sci-fi movies, like Aliens. You know what I mean? Like Aliens Resurrection. You know what I mean? So I got a fair amount of like just insanity and kind of static going on up in my head at all times. And sometimes, like that worm you were just looking at, the wiggle rib. It's like I've been a wacky worm fisher for like 20 years. So obviously when I started a bait business, I was like, dude, I gotta make my own wacky worm, right?
Yeah.
So I just hallucinated that. I mean, I just like saw it in my head, and I was like, okay, I know what I want out of a worm. And I'm like, man, it needs to have like points and ribs and like little bulbous ends and everything. And like, so yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff is just like the product of some straight insanity that's been directed in the correct way. I like to compare it to like a tattoo artist or like an artist or something, someone who draws or paints or something. That's like, or even better one would be like the stone sculptors. It's like they just see the potential of what it can be in their head, and then they make their reality kind of blossom and represent that. And that's kind of the same way that I think about it. All those designs, I mean, I come up with them. I just like think, I'm like, man, well, I fish. What would I want to fish?
Yeah.
How can I make it look weird? Let's put ribs on it. Let's put fins in weird places, So.
And it is funny because bass eat anything.
They don't care.
They don't care if it looks like a fuzzy ball sack with, like that thing. The arrow spear.
There's times where it does matter.
And then there's times,
but most of the time it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like if a bass can get it in its mouth, or it thinks it can get it in its mouth, it's going to try to eat it.
If it was big enough, they'd eat us.
100%.
100%.
A Goliath grouper is like a giant largemouth bass to me, and they're going to eat you.
Have any of you seen Marlin Baits on YouTube? He's a woodworker. He actually does like wood made baits, like
like balsa and stuff.
Yeah, glide baits and stuff.
Okay.
Like hand cut. But then he started doing soft plastics. But he's done a couple of videos. It's like, can I catch a bass on a stick?
Yeah.
Oh, I've
Like,
seen some.
Oh,
of
Can I
those.
catch a bass on a cigarette? You know,
Yeah.
It's
They'll
like-
do like old iPhone and they
Yeah.
thread a hook into it and throw it
Yeah.
out. Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, and then he'll cast down. He'll catch a bass every single time.
Yeah.
So it's like that's all you need to know about bass literally eating anything.
That's like old AP Bassin back in the day, catching one on a lettuce.
Yeah.
Lettuce.
Yeah.
Lettuce.
I caught one on those candy orange slices,
Mhm.
right? That you get from the store. They come in like
Like the gummy worm looking
like a gummy one.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite candies, dude.
Straight sugar.
Straight sugar. And whatever else is it's not plastisol, but it's close to it. But
It's
anyway, I throw that out there in the Cape Fear River, and I'm burning across the duckweed that was on top. There's about 20 yards of it. Skadoosh, right? Top water bite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, are you serious right now? They don't care.
Have you ever seen bass eat a baby duckling?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The first time I saw that, I was like horrified. Like,
Oh, it's definitely
like,
horrifying.
yeah, like here's a family of ducks, bam,
Yep.
and there's like 2 of the babies just gone, and I'm
Yep.
like, dang, you know,
Yep.
like
So they will eat anything. So I mean, having that like alien mindset and hallucinating these these baits and stuff,
So-
like, hey, it works, man.
So after you hallucinate and kind of get the idea in your head or sketched out, do you do all your own 3D,
no.
your CAD work and
No,
all that?
no. I come up with the most rudimental like juvenile drawing, like it'll be like a pencil, you know,
Mhm.
like similar to like what a 5th grader would draw.
Oh no,
you
yeah,
know?
that's what mine look like.
You know,
trust me.
I'm fortunate to work with like my mold guy. He does all the rendering and all that stuff. And I'm fortunate that he kind of like, we're kind of like in sync brain wise, you know? So I'm like, all right, this is what I'm thinking. And I show him like this weird, it's like a, just like a stick looking thing. And I'm like, and it needs to have appendages and ribs and all this. And he's like, bro, I got you. Like, and then he renders it in CAD and then sends it to me like, hey, how's this look? Like, what do we need to change? There's actually a lot more that goes into it. I mean, you don't really think about like the dimensions of a bait, right? Like you can have a worm, and I've had several designed before that are too thin.
Yeah.
It's like almost flat. And you're like, well, hold on. It has to have dimension, right? Because like if I'm threading a shaky head on here, like you have to be able to, stick it up on there. So
Yeah.
lots of little things and weird things that he's really good at rendering and kind of capturing, because he's also a fisher. So, and then he owns the machine shop. He cuts the molds, does all that sort of stuff. I was just really fortunate. He's actually at this point cut a lot of, I think I have probably 4 molds from him that we've designed. So
Are you injection molding?
Yep. Injection. We did for a little while, we did some hand pour stuff, but man,
It's a
I gotta
lot
tell
of
you,
work.
it's a pain.
Are you hand injecting, or you got the big Zorn?
I don't have a Zorn, but we do have the level down from that, which is a shooting star. So the multiple pots. So I've got 2 shooting stars and then 2 Presto pots. All of them have like automated stirs and everything. And I can do on one shooting star usually like 500 baits an hour. Like if I'm just really getting it. I built an air vise. Like I built my own air vise and everything, and I have like cooling plates. I know it sounds weird, but like when you're doing 500 baits an hour, I mean, aluminum takes heat, right? So if you're injecting 300-degree plastic in it every single, cycle, eventually that aluminum is just going to take it and it's going to cook off all the plasticizer, which is what actually solidifies the baits. So I have to have a setup of plates that I run water through, which also my mold guy made, that cool those back down to like a reasonable temperature.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's a whole, big thing. It's weird, when you get to talking about this, and it's like a normal garage level bait maker would never have an understanding of what you would need a cooling plate. Oh, you need to cool the mold down. Why? I'm like, dude, because it gets so hot, like it'll become a problem, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
I have to ask this then. You thought of this idea. How much studying and how much research and stuff did you have to put into this before you pulled the trigger and started the company?
none.
You
None.
just said,
In fact,
you just said full send.
Full send. So
Way to do it, man.
Yeah, no. So previous to this, I mentioned I owned a prior company. I still own that company. It's a training company, and it was originally a company for me to teach concealed carry, defensive pistol, trauma, survival. Like we have a whole bunch of different classes. I have instructors and stuff that come in and teach for me and stuff now. And then it was also an avenue for my wife to teach. We're into horses. So she teaches like horse riding and all that sort of stuff. So, and that's a totally different vein than anything fishing. Like
It's 180 degrees, bro.
Well, it is, but the idea of owning a business and like what you need to do, what goes into like, I mean, people don't think about stuff like taxes. Dude, I pay taxes every single year. I got to pay the state $200 a year just to exist. Even if I'm not doing any business at all, just to exist inside of North Carolina, you have to, pay the state. So, and there's all sorts of other stuff that goes along with that, but there's no
excise tax too.
Yeah. Excise. I mean,
and he's got to pay extraterrestrial tax.
Yeah. Out of this world,
That was terrible, but it was good.
No, I appreciate it. So I didn't really, I had a manual in my head of how to own a business, right? Because I had one. But then when it came to a fishing business, there is no manual that tells you how to do it.
Nope.
There is no, I mean, it's literally just been like trial and error, most of this stuff. And in some instances, like there are a couple of other, like moderate to mid-sized bait makers, like Biz Baits, right? Like Brian, I'll talk to him, reach out, have a conversation with him. Like, obviously I'm no threat to him at all. Right. And he's very open about sharing information. And same with, there's a couple other guys like,
I think like the Bryans, the Bens,
the
Deep Creek, like they understand
they have their market.
They understand there's plenty of room for everybody.
Right.
Well, like there's plenty of room for every small to mid-sized bait manufacturer. They just want, yourself included, like 0.5% of what
Strike King
or Zoom are doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Like, you may want to. Everybody obviously wants to be the best, but if you can just break off a small percentage and everybody just can take a small percentage, there's still plenty of meat on the bone for everybody. Right. And I think that's where you see that collaboration. Because I know, Ben, you've talked with Brian at Biz Baits. I've seen y'all collaborate at shows, and other companies have reached out, and they've reached out to all of us about stuff. And it's more of a community at that level, because you don't get that when you start going to the ICAST and these trade shows. It's like everybody's doing the same thing, but it's like it's a big freaking secret. And they're like, I've seen the dude spy. I have acted as the spy for companies and like gone and tried to get information. No,
we're
not to the state.
Well, so like when it comes to the fishing industry, as you probably know now, there's no trade secrets. Like everything. If you want to learn how to do something, you can.
There's a YouTube video.
There are trade
YouTube,
secrets for people that don't
research.
make baits.
Well, yes.
It's like if I wanted to learn how to make a jig, like that's within the industry, and it's like within making baits. I could just
100% right. So you're 100% right, because when I started spin casting, I would put videos up, and man, all these people got mad because I was showing behind the scenes. Well, you guys weren't doing it, and now I have hundreds of thousands of followers because I'm showing people what they want to see. They want to see how this stuff is made and all that.
Right.
That's your own fault. but you're right when it comes to like the other side of the business, like you're talking about your supply and your supply chain, where you're sourcing that stuff from. And really, the fishing industry, it's a commodified business. Like everyone's making the same thing. Okay, different shapes, different colors. It's all the same thing. There's really no patents. And the Z-Man one expired, right?
Yeah, the Direct Connect.
Not on the chatterbait.
You sure? I'm pretty sure it did, because there's a bunch of companies just came out with Direct Connect.
Yeah,
so they either bought in or
it was supposed to.
It's close to expire. They may have got an extension.
It was supposed to be close. I don't know if they got an extension or not, but like, so that's that stuff. And really, like the only way to be super, I think, successful is one, marketing, as you talked about, differentiate, and two, you have to find ways to make your product at a cheaper price than what other people can.
Yep.
And that is finding the right sources of components and cutting out the middleman, developing your processes and your equipment so that you have less steps, less mass, less material involved. And that is the way you can get ahead in this industry, is by doing those sorts of things. And that's what it comes down to. And scale, obviously scale, because you're selling
100%.
for $5 bags, $10 bags. Like you got to sell a bunch of them to be.
I think that's
to pay your bills.
I don't make any baits, right? But I do have something for you after this. I have made a bunch of his. Definitely packaged and skirted and packaged a bunch of his.
Yeah, that's true.
Gosh, that's time intensive. Anyways,
packaging. I mean,
packaging is just.
You trying to come like work for me? I'll put you to work packaging
God,
now. I mean, I'll put you in a room.
I already got this.
I need 220 grand a year.
Every time Ben needs a package, we have all kinds of stuff coming up.
But one of the things that I've observed in the industry, being at ICAST, being at the shows and stuff, first and foremost, teaching people how to spin cast. Listen, 99.9% of those people are not going to go out there and make their own jigs anyways.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to make their own soft plastics, and they're not going to make their own crankbaits, right? They want to know how to do it. They may have a thought of, maybe I'll do this in my garage, but most people aren't going to do it. Just like most people aren't going to start a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not going to do it, right? They're thinking about it, right? But here's the thing. And this is what, like, in Zoom and Strike King and all these big names, they know this. A lot of these companies don't want to scale any bigger than what they currently are.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of these guys don't want to be the next Zoom or be the next Z-Man or whatever. Some do. But a lot of these guys, they make really good money at doing exactly what they're doing right now because they own a market, a small percentage of that market that Pete was talking about. Right. So, I mean, there's a way to, potentially take over the empire, but, I don't think Strike King and Zoom and those other big brands are too concerned about it.
I don't think they care.
I
I mean, there's soft plastic manufacturers that make $20 million a year in soft plastic. Strike King, 20-30 million a year in soft plastics. And also, I think the other thing is like what you're talking about, like supply and everything. I don't think it's actually, when you get into like the cost of jigs and all that and hand tying, like I don't think you can actually make money hand tying until you get to the level of getting a spin cast, right? So until you're at the level,
and I tell you what, even then hand tying. So yeah, that's why I switched to hole-in-one skirts. Because you can only, I got fast to hand tie, but I was doing like 40 an hour max.
Yeah. Hand tying sucks.
I mean it.
And you do 10 hours. It's like you've hand tied 400 jigs in that one day, and that's one order.
Yeah, it could be one order,
one retail.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so that, I mean, that's a big part of it, right? And just. And like when I went to design my own hook, to find the right hook manufacturer and all, like no one tells you how to do that. All the information is there. It's all on Google.
Wait, do you have the long hook?
The long neck hook?
Dude, I think I had a conversation with you at the Bass and Saltwater.
At Raleigh?
Yeah.
Probably.
We had like a full-on conversation about.
You know what?
You probably did.
We did.
Yeah.
Now I remember.
Yeah, I remember you now.
I remember because you talked about Lillington. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
The dots are connected.
Yeah. Well,
and this is the other thing, because I don't remember how you hadn't done shows yet.
No, I'm actually doing the one in January though.
You were okay. So there's one coming up. Yeah. So once you start doing a bunch of shows, and you're going to run into the same problem. Like it'll take a while to jog it. But yeah, absolutely, I do remember. Yeah, that was.
And now here you are.
Yeah.
Now here we are talking about 4-7, getting that name out there. The one thing, and then there's guys like Matt McBee, right?
Yeah.
Tater Hawk, which we're going to get him on here. Do you know who Matt McBee is?
I don't.
So Matt, local to like the Lake Norman area, fishes the MPFL, but Tater Hawk makes big swim baits, big glide baits, right?
Okay.
He only makes them until he's ready to not make them, and then that's it, right? Like he'll make to what he needs to make, he'll sell, and then you got to wait for him to make them.
That's
right?
the swim bait game.
Drops.
Yeah, he's in that kind of game right there, right? So guys like that, they are in a very niche part of this industry, and I'm here to tell you, those guys make a buttload of money doing that stuff, right? So there's room for everybody, though. There really is room for everybody, because as much as technology has taken over and social media has helped like blow up, like internet sales and stuff like that, the fishing industry is still about who you can trust and word of mouth, right? There's a small percentage of it. And you talked about it with your captains on the coast, right? Yep. They're going to get what they want because of the guy that they trust, right? They're going to order from you. They're going to be like, "Hey, Phillip, I need whatever," right? And you're going to make it for them. And they're either going to tell other people about it, or they're going to keep it a very, very close secret, Yeah.
Well, I encourage them to go tell.
Yeah. Some of them are like, I don't know.
It's funny. Those glide baits, I was actually a woodworker prior to all of this stuff. And
oh, really?
The first thing I ever made fishing related was a glide bait. And I still have it. It looks like complete garbage.
I bet it catches them though.
It probably does.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've caught a couple on them. So, and then I started messing with like, what is it? That plexi like lip material that you can use for like the diving bait. Baits, like that is such a pain. I mean, I understand. I look at these prices. I'm like $250, and I'm like, man, there was like 100 hours that went into that bait.
Yeah.
So like, and especially if you're still doing it out of wood, like you can make them.
Even the resin baits. That take a long time.
it gets a little easier with the resin because you can line up, 50 resin molds and just pour to your heart's content, wait till it hardens. There's the bait, but you still have to paint it, right?
Yep.
Like painting.
Paint it, tune it, you got the sand.
Painting
So
is such a pain in the
that's not all the carving work, but it's
you
still,
know?
yeah, I've managed to avoid painting every time.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. And
What?
when
You
I
helping
started,
you paint
Well, actually, painting's
every time
not
you have
fun,
to paint,
but
have
painting's
something
probably
else to
one of
do.
the best parts. It's one of the fastest parts. It's one of the easiest parts.
Mhm.
I remember you telling me you invented a new system where you could paint a whole bunch of stuff.
I
all
didn't.
at once.
I didn't.
Or you-
Well, this is what I'm talking about. I didn't invent it,
Hmm.
and I'm not going to share this
No,
secret
no.
because,
Industry secret.
on the air. It's not a secret. Like it's
The information's out there.
it's out there, and when I was going down this route a few years ago, I kind of knew what some guys were doing, and I saw on a Facebook forum, I saw the equipment the guy was good, and I reached out to him. He's like, "That's the one secret I also don't share because it's one of those things. It's out there. You can find it, but some things you just don't always blast out there."
I can't wait to get all the DMs and stuff from people listening to this and watching. Be like, I've been searching for 4 days. Tell me what the
I
secret
know,
is.
like that process of learning to paint the way I do now. It was a several month process.
Yeah, I knew you went through it.
It was okay. This is how it should work. This is the equipment I should have. But there was a lot of trial and error,
Mhm.
and then modifying.
And your paint's
just
some of the
things.
best out. Like it doesn't chip. It doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Not easy. It will chip, but not like.
I mean, yeah. I mean, all
not
powder
like a lot of
chips,
the
but
baits,
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
I mean, if you're throwing it and bouncing it around rocks and brush piles,
And those
all
are the ones that
it's
get
like,
bit more after.
Those are the ones that get bit more. Dude, the
Yeah.
ugliest baits get bit.
Got to give it a
Yes.
little bit of love. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I mean,
Like,
when you think about it, like all the fish have been trying to survive their entire life, however long that is. The little minnows, maybe it's 2 weeks or
Yeah.
whatever. So they're swimming, stressed, beat up all the time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to look perfect either.
Yeah.
I like to just get a jig, take a hammer, and like smash the top, then toss it out there. Just go
Yeah,
fish it
you're good.
immediately, smash it.
So let's talk about the lineup real quick since
Okay.
we kind of went off on our tangents here. So 4.7's got pretty big lineup of soft plastics and stuff. So you kind of want to go through just like the general categories that you guys got to offer?
Yeah. So we actually are in the process of revamping the entire website because we at one point we had like 3,500 combinations between
wow.
all the baits and all the colors and all that. It got to the point where like any color that came out, we're throwing it up on a website. Oh, someone will buy it. But then that's the other kicker to that is when you start scaling, you'll have one person that'll buy one bag that you made 18 months ago that you don't even remember how to make that color, right? And it's like, dude, now I got to create this for this guy, and it becomes more of a pain. So we're actually in the process of downscaling, and we're going to focus on probably like 30 or so like real solid designs and then about 20 colors for each bait. So
Okay. That's still a lot.
we'll do like 10 solid colors and then like 10 dually laminated colors.
Okay.
Color on each side. So we have like a bunch of worms. I like a bunch of old school techniques.
Yeah,
This is
Speedworm.
this is
I mean, that
discontinued
is
color.
my language right there.
Yeah, Magnum speedworms. I mean, I don't know why people don't fish these anymore. This is like the most slept. I mean, maybe you guys
We
did, right?
fish them.
Yeah, nobody
Right.
fishes them.
Right, but I
Yeah,
mean,
they don't catch fish.
yeah, you can literally go behind someone. I mean, most tournaments and stuff, a lot of people just don't throw these,
Yeah.
and I'm like, why? Like these catch baits, and these won Bassmasters like in the 80s
yeah.
and 90s. Like these were big, So naturally, that was something.
That's a
that,
discontinued color.
What Scuppernong?
It was another company made that color,
Yeah,
and they don't
yeah.
make it anymore.
Yeah, and that's another thing is we try to actually focus on colors that are discontinued that you can't find anymore. So a big one, South Africa Special.
Yep.
Discontinued, right? 2020 happened, we all know, and everyone was in a race to try and prove how great they were, right? So discontinued South Africa Special. Well, we make it electric shad. That's the only bait you can buy electric shad in. Yamamoto, and you have to.
Oh yeah,
order
he
it.
still makes them. Yeah.
Yamamoto, and you have to special order it, right? You're not going to find, like an electric shad colored bait at Bass Pro or Cabela's, right? It's
Yeah.
just not carried. You have to order it from him, right? Red shad, red and black, super awesome color. People don't make it anymore.
Yeah, Culprit used to like make all those ribbon tail worms in that color.
Mhm.
Yeah, red shad.
Yep. We do ribbon tails too. That's another like personal favorite of mine. I think like a 7-8 inch ribbon tail is like the perfect size for any bass that's
Mhm.
trying to crush a bait. And that's another like super old school one. Those are similar to like the robo worms.
Yep. Pulse worms.
Yep. They're similar, a little bit different in the design on the tail, but it's pretty much very similar bait. But we have swim baits as well, like 3.5-inch paddle tails. Those are killer, like the Kitex, We've got a whole bunch of different like forward-facing sonar baits. We got little like minnows and little. I mean,
Now you're talking Trey's language.
What's he talking?
I love me some forward-facing sonar. I got it on my kayak, but but that's where the market is too. Yeah. It's like, if you don't have a little dart minnow or a little like minnow type bait that you can put on a jig head, like you're giving up a part of the market that, absolutely is being moved into, so. But yeah, and then of course we also have like some weird ones too, like that bloodworm there.
Yep.
I don't even know what that looks like, to be honest with you, like a little leech or something, like a little ribbed, like I use them as actually, if you rip the skirt off a chatterbait and just use it as a trailer.
Really?
Like just pull the skirt off.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just looks like a little worm or something. I don't know. But those ribs move water in a real, weird way. And that's kind of like how we focus, what baits we're going to focus on. It's just like, does it move water in some kind of weird way? There's those shads that you were looking at earlier. Those things, they have ribs all the way around. That's kind of similar to the.
That'd be a good bed fishing bait.
Yeah. Those are. But yeah, so, it's kind of like we're just slimming down the website. And of course, like I manage the website too. So it's a process, and especially we were picked up, I think I mentioned already, by a couple different retail locations. We have several retail locations like in the works that are very high volume. So managing all of that, and then also like doing something as simple as, hey, let me make a bait in 10 different colors and take a picture of it and then upload the picture to the website. It's like, it's a process,
Sure.
It's like I still have a day job and all that sort of stuff. So it's slowly coming along, but we're going to try and just kind of, narrow down. I've already actually gone through and taken off a whole bunch of different baits that just weren't selling, things that no one cared about. No one, maybe someone bought one pack of one time, and kind of trimmed down the colors and everything. But that's really about it. I mean, and then of course, we have the weird baits too. We have like the Q-bomb looking things, right? The aerospheres. We sell little Neds that are hairy, right?
Yeah.
Threads through them and stuff. We sell the dice. We call them the gambler's dice, but that's like also a very JDM bait and everything.
Yep.
And the big difference with all of that stuff is, one, I mean, all of that stuff is custom molds. But two, we use rubber legs where everyone else uses
silicone.
Yeah. And silicone, I mean, if you look at a jig in clear water and put it on the bottom, it just kind of flattens out, just opens up and sits on the bottom. Rubber stands straight up. Right. So if you drop one of these dice or something like that with these rubber legs in it, those legs are going to be flared up as it moves through the water column, which of course like adds, for bass, specifically, adds,
dude, that is, I know we're in the show here. Scroll down real quick, Pete. That one more. That mud mite right there, paired with a OneCast Fishing weedless net head, dude. First of all, that's a smallmouth catching freaking bug right there. Yeah, because I can't remember what it was. A buddy of mine made a video in the Uwharrie River catching smallmouth on a bait similar to that. And there's a bug.
The Helgramite.
Helgramite. Yeah, that's what it is, dude. Mm-hmm. Those things, I think Z-Man makes one or whatever. I can't remember, but yeah, that thing right there, that will crush, dude. Hardcore.
Yeah, I actually have a kayak guide that does like fairly large orders of those.
Oh, really?
He just goes and gets smallmouth. Like he'll take, like a couple people up the river in a kayak.
Yeah.
Let's go crush some smallmouth. Right?
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So I really like throwing those things. I don't know what it is, but like I just get some kind of joy out of throwing those little.
They get bit.
Looking weird. Yeah, dude, I mean, it's the same sort of thing as like throwing like a hair jig.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've ever thrown like a 16th ounce like marabou hair jig or something, like something super light, and it just like the fur just completely mats down when it gets wet. It just looks like a little like bug or like a mosquito or something traveling through the water. It'll get crushed.
Yeah.
I mean, every fish will eat it.
So we're on your website right now. One of the things we love to have our guests come in and talk about is where can everybody find everything about you? From websites to socials to everything.
I mean, we're kind of spread out. I mean, we have all of the socials, right? We have like the Instagram, we have the Facebook, we have the YouTube, and all of that is 47 Lures. I own that name completely outside of the website. I have that name, bought and everything. So, but it's all just 47 Lures. So like there is an Instagram. And weirdly enough, there's so many platforms these days. When I started, I just picked one.
You got a MySpace?
I used to, not anymore.
Mm.
Tom, he was everyone's friend.
That's right.
Yeah, so we have all these platforms, and it's just /47 lures. So YouTube, the Facebook, the Instagram, all /47 lures, and then the website, of course, is 47lures.com. So, like I said, I own that name outside of
47. Spell the word out.
Correct. Right? Everything's spelled out. We don't use any of them weird numbers or anything like that. No numeral 4, numeral 7, nothing like that.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, I own that name outside, so it made it really easy to just like transfer it into the actual name for everything, because it was like, hey, I actually like have bought this name. So,
Yeah.
What about the brick and mortar facilities? You got baits in any of those right now?
Yeah, we have 4 retail locations right now that are 3 of them are actually very like local. Like one of them's right in Lillington, actually. Just like a local tackle shop type of deal. And then, like I said, we just got picked up by 2 more, and I'm not going to say anything about them yet because like I still want to send, make sure everything goes through before. But I mean, once it happens, like I'll blast it out on Facebook, and everyone will know where you can go find them.
Yeah.
But right now, primarily, it's just the website. Or, I mean, you could contact me through like Messenger, or like anything like that, Instagram, whatever, if you needed something. I try to like stray a little away from doing as much custom work anymore because, I mean, honestly, it's just time.
It's time
to be
consuming.
Perfectly honest with you. It's like, let me get this one random color that I'll never make again.
You get to a point where you just can't hardly do that anymore. It's
like, let me go focus on this 800 bag order for this retail location. That's going to, you know what I mean? Like, let me direct my efforts a little elsewhere.
Yeah. That's understandable.
But yeah, so right now it's just right through the website. Like I said, and there is local stuff, but I mean, I don't, this place, I mean, I don't even think they have a website. It's like mom and pop tackle place. The dude's owned it for 85 years, so.
Yep.
I didn't even know there was a tackle shop in Lillington.
Is it the one that says bait and tackle right on the main road right before the river?
That's one of them. That's one of them.
Go buy it every Sunday.
Yep. But yeah, so, right now it's just through the website. We are going to be, like I mentioned earlier, we're doing the trade show in January.
Yep.
At Raleigh?
Yep. The Bass and Saltwater Fishing Expo.
You going to do the Fayetteville one too?
No. So this year we're just going to do this one. Next year we're going to try and hit Richmond, Greensboro, Raleigh, and Fayetteville. It's every single weekend in January. It's basically back to back. But, I feel like, we'll have the entire year to work toward it and get all that stuff straightened out and everything. So it'll be good. So, come January, you'll be able to come to the fairgrounds and, see me. I'll probably be right across the aisle from you.
Yep.
And, it's funny. You actually told me, I think I remember you telling me about your slat wall that you bought.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when I formulated the idea that I was doing this year's show and paid the money and all that sort of stuff, I was like, look into that.
Dude, it's a game changer.
Vegas displays.
Because we built one. Ben built one prior, and it was awesome. Just pay the money.
It was nice. I mean,
it was very nice.
It was very cheap, much cheaper. But it was like wood paneling, like and
it was super. Nice.
The problem with it wasn't modular. So as you continue to grow, that means making new panels or drilling new holes and things get chipped and all that stuff. So it was just, fortunately got to a point it was time to move on. But
he retired it, but we did take it to the Bassmaster Classic.
We did.
So that was
the last show.
That was the last show that we did with that.
It was. That was the last.
Was the 2023?
No, 22.
22. It's been that long.
No, because 23 they weren't in Knoxville.
I've only had the.
I thought it was 23. Yeah, I think it was 2023.
I took the old stuff to when I did the 3 shows. So,
okay.
Yeah.
The point is, as you continue to expose 4-7, like everybody here, lessons learned, right? Like modular system, a huge network of people. Because there's a lot of people here that want to help each other out, right? Like we love promoting local companies. We absolutely do. The bigger companies, we can't really do anything for them anyways. We're not
worried about you.
We're not Joe Rogan or whoever else, Theo Vaughn, this past weekend podcast, but we do have a lot of people in the North Carolina area and around the country that like to listen to things that aren't the staple like tournament recap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So these new products that we're talking about, 4-7, OneCast Fishing, our buddies over at 911 or 911 Custom Lures, however you want to say it, Deep Creek, all that stuff. Man, you guys offer a unique product to the consumer, right? And they're looking for that, right?
I think at the end of the day, I mean, like we were mentioning earlier, there's so much of the same, like if you're making the same Senko that Yamamoto's been making for 40 years, it's kind of like how do you separate yourself? How do you make it so that your customer base like wants to actually interact with you? And you do that by just being slightly different or having an improvement in a process or offering colors that aren't around, things of that. And two of those things we're actually trying to do, right? Colors and unique baits and stuff. So, I mean, I think it's really a must just because, and the other thing is that the fishing industry and the market is very saturated. Like there's no shortage of that garage bait maker that will sell you 100 hand poured Senkos for like $5. You know what I mean? And like, so it's almost like the guy that's completely willing to take no profit because he's like, oh yeah, I'll just knock this out. Yeah, I got a 40 cavity mold. Like whatever, I'll pour you 50 Senkos. What do you want? Here, I'll do 2 or 3 shoots of this and I'll give it to you for $5. There's no shortage of those. So like in order to actually be different enough to stand out and be unique and all that sort of stuff and kind of establish a name for yourself, you have to do something different.
There's some guys, and I will say this about the garage bait makers. There's some garage bait makers out there that want no one to know who they are.
Yep.
Because they are very exclusive to a guy who fishes professionally, and he will pay them good money to make them a very specific bait, right? That no one else, that they're not going to bring to market, or that is very different. So there's some guys that want to be a part of that underground shadow network out there. And if you listen to this, you know exactly who you are. And that's fine. That's your niche. That's your market and stuff like that. But I guess my final question to you is, you have a day job. Is your plan to have 4-7 completely take that over? And
well, that's the dream, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's your dream.
Yeah. I have a really good day job.
Okay.
At some point I would like to set myself up in the future to, be it so that I can take over just making baits. Because there's a lot of things that go with it that are awesome, like working on my own time schedule.
Yes.
Right. Like I don't have to, like, I mean, they're pretty lax where I'm at now, so it's not a huge deal. But like if I want to wake up at 10 o'clock, which I haven't done in 30 years, like, God forbid, I've been at 4 a.m. every single day for 30 years, I think. I honestly, I have an alarm on my phone set for 5. I've never heard it. I don't even know what it sounds like because I'm up before then to shut it off. Right. Like, so, but I'm saying if I wanted to sleep until 10, I don't know what I'd have to do to make that happen. I could. And I was like, walk
gummies,
pour baits to 4 a.m.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And then, just walk out to my workshop and it's like, I have guys that'll come, and help and all that sort of stuff. But like the freedom to be able to do what it is that you want to do on your own time schedule. And like, obviously like at my day job, like I don't have any say in how that company is piloted. I have no say in like the decisions they make. I have no say, like, I'm basically a smaller cog in a giant, wheel. I'm a business consultant for a software company. The software we make manages the lending process for banks.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so I don't have any say in any of that stuff.
Right.
It's like I wake up, I do my job. That's great. Awesome. I love it. I'm very blessed to have something that I just like actually enjoy doing, love showing up to and stuff. But on the flip side of that, it's like, dude, I could like, this business, like if I take it to a certain level, but I mean, like you were saying, there are a lot of companies that I think it just depends on what level you want to be at. Like, obviously, I mean, I don't have hopes of being Strike King now. I mean, maybe in like 30 years, right? I mean, it took them even a while, and I don't know if anyone's seen their facilities, but they have gigantic a manufacturing facility, basically. I mean, it's like, like you'll have 40 assembly line workers type of deal, like all packing baits. Yeah, it's a big process, man, that they got going on. And to even to get to that scale, I mean, you have to put some time and effort in, right? You can't can't just get to that scale overnight.
Right.
Like, I mean, even purchasing the facility, or like the machines that they have mix 55-gallon drums of plastic all at the same time as it's shooting it through the machine, through the heating elements. Like, Yeah,
That's a big deal.
It's a big process, man. Or Yamamoto, he's done like tours of his facility and stuff before, and it's actually kind of crazy because he'll have a conveyor belt and it's like stacked like 5 feet high with Senkos, right? And he'll have like 40 assembly workers on each side. They got a pair of gloves and some bags, and they'll just like be putting them in the bags. All right, this is full. Like, and he's got like 80 people doing it, and it's just, man, it's like 5 foot high of just worms, you know. So, yeah, I mean,
I'd love
just
to
like,
back my truck up in there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
with a snow shovel.
yeah, snow shovel.
Just start throwing it over the
Yeah.
shoulder.
well,
Bud.
is his plant in Texas?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he's got that's the Yamamoto USA
Yeah.
plant, you know, and you know, and the other thing is like people always talk about salt and baits and all that sort of stuff, and I mean he's mixing 55-gallon barrel of plastic, 55-gallon barrel of salt. I mean he's doing 1-to-1. It's crazy.
Those things have diabetes, huh?
Oh, dude, it's,
Oh, that's
that thing is
I'm
crazy.
just kidding.
Yeah,
Heart
that's
attack.
crazy,
Yeah,
man.
they
Yeah.
have very high cholesterol.
Yeah, high
Blood
cholesterol.
pressure.
Yeah. Take your cholesterol pills.
That's right.
Well, I appreciate you breaking that down for us, man. I'm gonna turn it over to Ben and Pete.
Yeah, Ben.
I talk too much.
Oh, I don't know what else I got now. I mean,
Trey usually asks every question.
there's a few things I want to talk about offline. but
Okay.
That's like.
I hope I'm not in trouble.
No.
No.
That's for the Patreon account we don't have
It's,
yet.
no, it's for I guess more like industry stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making
Trade
baits and
secrets.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
like
I
stuff out there.
As long as you're not like coming up to me, like pointing your finger on my chest, like I want to talk to you.
Oh.
You insulted me, you know, or like something like that.
I gotta after this, this is offline too. You guys can't hear unless you subscribe to that $15 a month Patreon account. But just kidding.
You
I
said
gotta-
only-
Unless you really want to, and then
I
I'll
got
make a link
I
tomorrow.
got a bait name that I think would be really cool. For
No, all right. You got a prototype?
No, just the name of it. Just you
Okay.
whatever. Make it whatever you want.
All right.
So, anyways, that's all I got.
What do you got, Pete?
Trey asks all my questions.
Oh, whatever.
You
dude.
do every week. It's like you're in my head.
Listen, everybody knows I'm trained at this kind of business. People pay me to run my mouth. Okay, so
It's not wrong.
I'm actually getting ready to retire from that, running my mouth. So that's
But he
pretty
still
awesome.
does it here.
You
would never know.
I will do it.
You're-
Philip, we appreciate you coming in, man, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
breaking down 4.7. You got a really unique product. I'm definitely going to fish that product here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought I brought like 20 bags of baits.
Yep.
Whatever you guys want to do.
There's
with them,
a
man.
couple
I mean,
things on
you
there
know.
that I got to order.
Yeah.
Yep.
That are very unique.
Well, just like hit me up outside of that. You know.
Yeah, we can
You-
talk.
You,
We
know,
can
you
talk
don't have to
offline.
go through the normal.
Well, we
normal
ain't
process.
we ain't special.
No.
Well, Pete's definitely not special, but but no, definitely. Hey guys, if you're watching, listen, head on over to 47lures.com. Spell that out, 47 lures.
It's FOUR, David Fuchs. SEVENLURES.com.
And then
I'm just kidding.
And
dude.
then
We
on
love
all the socials, 47 lures. And be on the lookout for the descaling, but the new product, you're still coming out with new product and stuff like that. You got a lot of unique soft plastics to offer, a lot of the JDM style designs, which catch them. And in a lot of those lures will pair very well with OneCast fishing lures. I'm here to tell you that. So we appreciate you coming in here and breaking that down for us. Before we jump off here, is there anything else you want to close with?
Man, the only other thing that I want to say is that we're fortunate to work with a bunch of like other YouTube people. I call them partners. A lot
Yeah.
of people in the industry call them pro staff, which I hate.
was
I
gonna
hate
ask you
that
about
term.
that,
I hate
yeah.
that term because it's just like,
Promotional staff.
yeah, it's like, yeah, why don't you use your hard-earned YouTube channel and market for me, and I'll give you 15% off and allow you to use my logo.
Yeah.
Come on, it's like. So a couple of those guys, Josh, Abide Fishing, Travis does kayak fishing. Both those guys have YouTube channels. Leland Stiff, he's a local guy, fishes a lot of local tournaments and stuff. Fortunate enough to work with those guys. Fish On with Coach Steve. Fortunate to work with him as well. Carolina Outdoors.
Oh, okay.
We have a lot of, we're just very fortunate. I just want to, take a time to like say thank you.
Yep.
And just say, thanks for like allowing us to help you and always being a good, spokesman for the business and everything. And just go out and like all these guys that we partner with. It means nothing to me if you win tournaments. I mean, sure, that's fine. Like if I had, a professional league guy or something that wanted, baits or something, of course we would work with that. But what matters more to me is like outreach to the community, like just being a good steward in general, like a good person, And that's what we're just fortunate enough to work with all these guys that are all just really good within their own individual communities. And man, giving back, that's like part of what all of this is about. At the end of the day.
No, that's amazing, dude. We always talk about the culture here, and we'd be running this show even if we didn't have anybody listening to it. And what we have done is cultivated a small community. We love that community, and it continues to grow bit by bit. And that's by bringing guys like you in and all of our other friends that we brought in to talk about their companies and what things they offer to the community. And then there is a way to grow through that outreach that you're talking about, right? And we talked about it June 29th. Come down. Help us clean up Jordan Lake. We talk about it all the time with Take a Warrior Fishing. Get involved in that 501c3 veteran organization that focuses on getting veterans in the outdoors, fishing heels. Guys like you with these companies can support that, right? That is giving back to the community that supports us the most. And we appreciate you coming down here, breaking that down for us and helping us continue to grow a culture of anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. Huh? It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.